Hello there, and welcome to The Value of Everything. So, I've been recently scouring the internet and I found an article on reason.com. It's in relation to a flyer that's been handed around the University of Kansas of social welfare, stating that anarcho-capitalists and students who oppose safe spaces are probably secret Nazis. That was very interesting to make those comparisons. I was actually quite motivated by this article and decided to put in some comments. They failed to materialize for whatever reason. So let's look into this. Now, the National Socialist German Workers' Party does have some small similarities, if any, with anarcho-capitalism. The first one would be they probably sit in the same camp for being anti-corporation. Now, most parties would be anti-corporation unless you can find some globalist elite party. So the actual front face of most political parties would be anti-corporation, but over time most parties become corrupted by lobbyists and then they sit in bed with the corporations. So Nazism thought is to nationalize these big multinational conglomerate corporations, and the anarcho-capitalists would most likely say that this is to be broken up and sold off. Not even that really, they probably just say, well, there isn't the legal embrace of a government to protect the corporation anymore. So you do not have that legal shield, and you as an individual are now responsible. And next, for another similarity, is the encouragement for private initiative. Now, Nazism would say that if you're doing incredibly well with your private effort and it was deemed as a public good, then it's most likely to be nationalized. However, for anarcho-capitalism, if you're doing very well, then you are encouraged by your profits and you have an opportunity to expand the business because you are providing such a public good to the people. If you want to go so far, they share the same grievances on tyranny of the state, but they go about resolving it in totally different ways. Essentially, Nazism is a belief that one's nation should have an individual race or culture than multiculturalism. So the Nazis from this point took being pure blood or an Aryan to an evil level. Now, I wouldn't say any anarcho-capitalists would go to this point. Anarcho-capitalists do believe in the removal of a nation-state to create a voluntarist society without coercion. There's a good chance that small micro-societies would exist. However, rather than being pure in their race, their Aryan race, they will be pure in their values. So I hope that clarifies that. It's a strange world that we live in. Some people are connecting the dots between anarcho-capitalists with Nazis, and that does set a fairly dangerous precedent because Nazism probably has the worst reputation of any political view. Now, when you want to go to Donald Trump's perspective, there is definitely hints of nationalism and populism which is occurring, and you can make a few more comparisons with neo-Nazism to that movement. However, there is again some lines in the sand which wouldn't say that it would go that far. So, for example, Donald Trump has never said there is one true race, which is the whites. Donald Trump has, however, said that he needs to prevent the flow of terrorism, and that is a case where he has stopped immigration where terrorists had a high population ratio. So there is some kind of discrimination which is occurring in accordance to statistics. Now, this is a a little bit of a controversial area, but if you do apply a statistical analysis and you prejudice your searches in favor of that statistical group, there is a likelihood that you would find you stem the flow of those people even further. When you do apply prejudice, say for example, stop and frisk for black men, there is a whole different explosion of different things which occur because there is a reaction to the prejudice which gets applied. There should be a kind of ethos of being a fair society. So, not to get bogged down in the complexities of Donald Trump's administration and neo-Nazism, but there's some slight similarities, but not to the extent. So thank you very much for your time. I'm just making a very short statement here. If you'd like to come back to me on any of these points, please add any comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like and subscribe. That will be very much appreciated.